Hey everyone, I'm Eric Franklin with your Garrison Public Affairs. And this week on the podcast, we're speaking with the Military Family Advocacy Program to learn all about the great benefits that they have to offer. All that and more on this week's Great Big Podcast. And welcome back. Please introduce yourself and tell me a little bit about what you do at the FAP.
My name is Sharon Jones. I am a family advocacy program specialist, very brand new position. I have been in family advocacy since June of 2007. I've worn multiple hats. I served as an educator from 2007 to 2021. And recently accepted this position, and it has moved me to a more administrative type of role.
Okay, so what happened back in 2007 that brought you into the FAP program?
My husband PCS from Fort Drum, New York.
Okay.
And at Fort Drum, I was Employment Readiness Program Manager. So my role was assisting military spouses with seeking employment. And when we got here, I was in that position looking for employment. And there were two positions available. It was a relocation readiness specialist, and it was an educator position. I got a call to interview for both. The family advocacy program called first. I liked what I heard. I felt like that would be a great fit for me, so I accepted that position the very next day.
Of course. And why wouldn't you?
So that's what brought me to family advocacy, and what made me stay, well, that's a different story.
Okay. So just tell me a little bit about what the program is and what they do for the families here.
It is a Department of Defense mandated program. It is designed to address child abuse and neglect, as well as domestic violence and problematic sexual behaviors in children and youth. So our goal is prevention on the Army Community Service side, but there is also a medical side of FAP that most people they're not aware of unless they're a part of the process, and that falls under the hospital over at Credamsey. So there is a FAP there, and then our FAP program is housed under ACS at the Shoemaker Center.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about how the program here at Fort Cavazos promotes healthy family relationships, both just in general.
Well, we have what I would like to call a menu of classes, workshops, programs, and services for everyone. Parents, couples, single soldiers, teenagers that are dating, and those programs are designed to help equip families with the necessary tools to mitigate stressors, risk factors that can happen that would cause family violence. Whether it is our new parent support program, which services families with kids ages 0 to 3, or our relationship enrichment workshop, our stress, anger, conflict management program, or our victim advocacy services, where maybe an incident did happen and the individual who was affected by abuse, they're a little unsure as to what's available to them. A victim advocate would be there to assist them. So promoting healthy families is done from a perspective of education.
Okay. And so all of those classes are available not, after something happens, just
Before,
in general.
In general, absolutely. And one of the programs that I do like is we have a prep for marriage class. And this particular workshop or class is for those that are wanting to get married. Okay. Oftentimes, you don't see couples attend a workshop or a class where they are discussing maybe some of the differences before they get married, and then they can receive a credit or a discount towards their marriage certificate or their marriage license as a result of taking the class.
So I'm dating someone, and we go to counseling, and now there's nothing wrong it was just one of those things that we both decided, like, we need to go to counseling. And I wish it was free, but it's not. But that's okay.
Yes.
But I know counseling before marriage is important, just as important as counseling by yourself, as well as with once you're married. Why is having these type of programs so important?
I think it probably goes back to, not probably, it does go back to our service members being mission ready. With home life not in a great place, then it tends to affect that service members' daily work activities. If we are struggling in the relationship, and let's just say we had a domestic violence incident, now that service member has to be a part of the FAP program.
Okay.
Or if there was some child neglect going on, CPS may get involved. So it just helps equip families with the necessary tools, again, to handle those challenges that military families may face, unlike a lot of our civilian families.
Okay. And the military is stressful for its own reasons.
Absolutely.
Not necessarily. I don't want to say it's stressful in a bad way, but it is stressful. What are some of the trends that you see that are affecting service members?
It could be finances. I think that's a big one that causes stress in a relationship and in a marriage. Once children start to come, that's another one. Maybe one parent is doing more of the caregiver role than the other, and they may need some respite care. It could be a multitude of things, to include deployments and assignments where one parent is taken out of the household. So I would just say there are quite a few things that we have to juggle at the same time when it comes to assisting our families. So you have, again, the financial aspect. You have the relationship piece where there may be some communication issues. And then you have the parenting piece where there may be some education that needs to take place.
Okay. And so since you've been with the program in multiple facets over the last, I can't even do the math, almost 20 years now, is there a standout story for you that just brings home what the program does?
Well, I remember being hired back in 2007 to be the lead child passenger safety technician. When people think of family advocacy and child passenger safety, how is that related? Well, we know that part of keeping children safe is when we travel with them, they must be properly restrained in a car seat, and that car seat must be installed properly. And so I remember when the shooting happened back in 2009, and we got a call from a casualty officer, assistance officer, wanting us to assist with the family who needed car seats. They had lost a loved one, and the president was coming to the installation. And the reason they needed the car seats is because the vehicle that the family owned was still at the scene of the incident. So all 3 car seats were in that car. And so that was a part of the investigation process. So they needed car seats. And we had to actually go to the family's home that day here on the installation, work with mom to get all 3 kids fitted to a car seat each. We're talking an infant, a toddler, and a preschooler. Just to be in the presence of that family during that tragic time for them, and to provide whatever assistance we could is one that has stuck with me all of these years, because we actually did something that we know was a benefit to a family. Seeing men come to our boot camp for new and expectant fathers classes, aka Daddy Boot Camp, and put on that empathy belly so that they can get a sense of what mom is going through during the pregnancy. When she says, I'm carrying this extra weight, or baby is pressing on my bladder, whatever that may be, to have those dads change a diaper for the first time in the class, practice holding positions and understanding what swaddling means. All those things that we offer in those classes, those hands-on experiences for our families, make such a great difference in their lives. And so to me, that's the reward, seeing them walk away with something tangible.
Okay. And so you mentioned the daddy boot camp. It's not daddy boot camp, but that's what we're going to call
That's
it.
what we call it.
If a family reaches out to you for programs like that, what is it that they can expect as soon as they reach out to you for a class?
Well, it's going to depend on what class or what service it is that they need. If they need a boot camp for dads, we know that is a class for men. They just call us up, sign up, say, hey, I'm expecting a baby, first child, or maybe it's my second child, but my oldest child is 10 and I know some things have changed. We're going to walk them through the process of signing up and enrolling, and then once they get to the class, we do the rest for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just what all agencies fall under the family advocacy, and how do you guys interact and do a proper handoff with other agencies?
Well, we definitely work closely with our sister agency, that is the Family Advocacy Clinical part over at the hospital. We work with DES as well. DES, oftentimes, they're the first responders. So if they respond to a domestic incident, they are going to then send those reports to us, and we make contact with the alleged victim in this situation, or victims, to offer services. We also work closely with Families in Crisis, which is located in the Killeen area, because what if a person does need to leave a situation due to safety reasons? Then we will do a warm handoff with Families in Crisis so that they could get to a safe shelter. CPS may contact us because they're working with a family that we're also working with, and so we kind of connect in that way to see how we can better assist. But to wrap it up, family advocacy has two parts. We have a clinical side and we have a prevention side. I'm from the prevention side, which falls under ACS. Under the prevention side, we have three areas. We have our training and our education. And under our training and our education, this is where we reach units. We go out, we speak to command teams. We offer desk side briefs to commanders and first sergeants within them taking command within 45 days. We also try to touch every single unit on the installation annually to offer the mandatory annual domestic violence or family violence training. And then there's our new parent support program, in which we service those families with young children. Our most vulnerable population are the families with kids ages 0 to 3. And there are a lot of reasons. Most people say, well, they can't talk and tell you what's going on. But the primary reason is they are solely dependent on their parent for care. If we don't feed them, they don't eat. If we don't clothe them, they don't receive the proper clothing, especially on a day like today where it's a little more chilly than normal. And medical care. So there are certain things that we have to take into account when we're dealing with the younger population. And then there's our victim advocacy program, where individuals can seek out services. They can be assigned a victim advocate, and that person will walk them through the process, navigate those waters. Even if they decide to stay in a relationship, safety planning, because safety is number one. And then what if that person needs a protective order? They may not know, do I go to Bell County? Do I go to Coryell County? And so helping to educate them on what their rights are as a victim is important. So as you can see, there are a lot of agencies that we have connections with in the community to help a family get through the process of a crisis intervention. And then I did mention we have two hotlines that fall under our program. We are the reporting point of contact for the installation for domestic violence and child abuse. That is our 287 CARE hotline. And then we have our crisis line number, which is the victim advocacy crisis line, where a victim can call directly and speak to a victim advocate. They have two reporting options. They can make a restricted or an unrestricted report. Restricted report means it stays with us, but we make sure they get the services that they need. No investigation is going to be done. Unrestricted report, everyone is involved. Command teams, CID, MPs, law enforcement, legal, all of those things come into play when it's unrestricted. But it is the decision of the person making the report to decide how they want to make it. And we just have to inform them whether or not they're eligible for certain things. and how to go about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So two more quick questions for you. What would be the key takeaway that you would want the listeners and the watchers to take away about the not only just the military family advocacy program?
Aside from the domestic violence definition that we talked about earlier, prevention is really what we're all about on our side of the house. So we have a lot of fun programs. Our goal is to help parents, families, couples just be more resilient in their relationships. So I want to kind of toot New Parent Support Program's horn because they offer a play morning every Wednesday at Bronco Youth Center. And during our campaigns such as Child Abuse Prevention Month in April and Domestic Violence Awareness Month in October, they will hold a special play morning on a Saturday.
Okay.
October 26th, they will have a special play morning. And the theme of that one is Be Who You Want to Be. So the little ones get to dress up in costumes and come to play morning. It is a space for parents to network with other parents and socialize their children with other children. But again, the other thing I want folks to know is that all of our programs and our resources are free. It doesn't cost them anything, and they're voluntary. So anytime anyone they may just have questions, they can give us a call. That's what we're here for.
Okay. And speaking of giving you a call, if someone has more or wants more information or wants to reach out to you, where can they find you guys at?
If it is for those two hotlines that I mentioned, to make a report, it is 287-CARE, 287-2273. If it is for a victim advocate and victim advocacy services, it is 254-702-4953. If they are just wanting classes, they can contact the main FAP number. I believe that number is 286-6774. Also, another number to reach out to is the ACS main number, 287-4ACS.
Okay. So with the 287-4ACS, that's going to get them exactly where they need to be.
That's going to get them not just FAP, but all of ACS, but we're all connected. We are under that umbrella. If they come visit us at the Shoemaker Center, they will come to the ACS office on the second floor, sign in at the ACS front desk, and again, we have a way to connect them because we're all located in the same space.
Okay.
We have a way to connect them to who they need to get to.
Okay. Well, is there anything else that you'd like to share?
Good question. Aside from the play morning that's coming up, we are still in the month of October, which is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So we have our resource tables that we conduct weekly at different locations across the installation. So be looking out for us there at those places. And then in April, Child Abuse Prevention Month, Month of the Military Child is coming up. So that campaign will start. We'll start the planning process for that. But our goal, again, is to increase awareness and to decrease all of the incidents that we've seen.
And I'd like to thank you for coming out and talking with us, and we look forward to having you on the show next time.
It has been an absolute pleasure joining you today, telling you about all of our great programs and services. Thank you for having me.
Thanks.
Home feels safe, but arriving at your holiday destination is only half the battle. Most holiday exodus mishaps occur in the soldiers' local area, not on the trip there or back. The Army loses approximately 11 soldiers every year during the holiday season. Most of them are privates and specialists, almost all of them in vehicle crashes. Many involve alcohol. Leaders, have you gotten in front of your formation's distress safety? First line supervisors counseling soldiers saves lives. Period.
Hi, I'm Monty Campbell with your Garrison Public Affairs Office. And this is On Track with your Fort Cavazos Minute. We've got everything you need to stay informed and connected. The Community Events and Bingo Center will host a Ghostbuster-themed bingo for children ages 2 to 17, 11 a.m., October 26th. The cost is $7.50 with lunch included. Doors will open at 10 a.m. and goodie bags will be given to all children. Better opportunities for single soldiers will also be having a trunk or treat in the parking lot for attendees. Costumes are encouraged. For more information, call the center at 254-532-9253. Post-wide trick-or-treating is from 6 to 8 p.m., October 31st. Children under 12 years old are asked to access streets with an adult. Drivers are asked to slow down and remain alert, especially while driving in residential neighborhoods. Additionally, the Fort Cavazos Exchange is hosting a trunk-or-treat from 1 to 4 p.m., October 26th at Comanche Express, located at 52021 Tank Destroyer Boulevard. There will be candy, games, music, face painting, and prizes. The USO Fort Cavazos is also hosting a trunk-or-treat from 6 to 8 p.m., October 30th in the parking lot. That's all for your Fort Cavazos Minute. Stay tuned for more updates and information to keep you on track. More information can be found in the links below.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Samantha Harms with the Garrison Public Affairs Office. I feel like it's been forever since I've been on the podcast, but I'm happy to be back. And I'm happy to chit-chat about family advocacy.
Yeah, you know, I think this is the first time that we've both been on the, yes.
No, I think right when I came back.
Yes.
And you came back.
Yes. That was
our
yeah.
TDYs.
But, like, I don't think a lot of people realize we haven't had an opportunity to be on the show as much as we would like, because we're behind the scenes moving shells. It's like, it's amazing how much stuff we have going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we're all doing it because we love what we do, and we love to bring you guys these great podcasts, now video podcasts.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, you know, the MFAP, when they came on, they talked about just all the cool stuff that they offer for service members, and it's not when something bad happens.
Yeah.
It's something preventative.
Yeah.
Like they have a daddy boot camp thing that I'm going to go check out because I think it's cool. Like, that's all I'm going to say about that. I think I want to know a little bit more because why not?
Well, I mean, you do have children, so
I do.
You can always learn something new.
Yeah. Yeah, especially it was like, some people have kids and they're 16 and then they have a baby. So things definitely have changed from 16
Things
to
do
now.
change,
So,
yes, absolutely.
doesn't seem that long ago, but it is. But yeah, no, that's it was great. You know, I love having them on. Like, we just spoke with them last weekend. Was it last week? When we were out there at the walk for domestic violence.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's a great thing.
Yeah.
What do you have planned coming up this weekend?
Well, this past weekend, I ran into you come on, how could you forget this?
It was all that food I was eating. So I went home and
we went to the Cowboys for Heroes event. It was great.
Yeah.
You said you had a lot of food.
I did, man. I went home, as soon as I got done, I went home and went to sleep because it's all that truck wagon food.
Yeah, that's fair.
And there was a bunch of cool cars out there, so that's always cool.
Yeah, so I did that, and then I actually went to a book sale.
Okay.
So bought a bunch of books that I really didn't need, but I did it anyways.
Did you find any old books?
No old books. It was from a library.
Okay.
It was from the Harker Heights Library, actually.
Okay.
They do like an annual book sale where they just like try to get rid of books so they can replenish.
Speaking of books, where can people go here on the installation if they want to get books?
The one and only Casey Memorial Library.
That's true.
Of course.
I love it. And don't we have something in the paper every week, don't we?
Or no, not every week. But the second week of the month, I write a book column. So I talk about all different types of books. And this last book I did not get at our library, but you can get it on Libby through the DoD's like online library. But moving forward, and in the past, almost every single book that I have done a column for, I have physically picked up at the Casey Memorial Library. So it's here, it's ready. I love that place.
Okay.
It's great.
Okay. Well, again, we like to thank you guys for checking in with us and checking out the podcast. Be sure to leave your likes, comments, doubts, concerns in the links below or in the comments. That's all we got.
Yeah.
Talk to you next time.
Leave a 5-star review for us.
Bye.
Bye.